From Oakland, California, welcome to another Tech Close-Up. I'm Mark Albertson, and guess what? We're close to lots of technology again. Well, what's new about that? Well, what is new is we decided to add a little variety to our background. So this time, we're coming to you from the Chabot Space and Science Center. But you know, wherever you go in or around the Silicon Valley, you're bound to run into lots of science and technology, or the brainy folks who dream it all up. And hey, that's what Tech Close-Up is all about. In this month's program, we'll take a closer look at airport security and how advances in screening technology are trying to take the headaches out of flying the sometimes not so friendly skies. We'll meet some people who claim to have found what could be the holy grail of computing technology, the ability to truly prevent software piracy. And we'll visit an unusual company where the entire Earth really is flat. You know, Columbus taught us the world is round, but there's a couple of guys in Menlo Park, California, who think the world might be a little flat. You see, they've devised some new display technology that may change the way we look at things, everything from trade shows to architecture. Now, we guarantee this story won't be boring, but it might be a little flat.
This is our twisty table. It's part of a family now being called the GeoConnectable.
The world sure looks a lot different when you move it around a table.
We can slide around, look around. We show various different aspects of the city. In this case, it's development projects that the city's working on with various corporations. As we come back out to the high-level interface.
An interactive map projected onto a movable table screen. It's one way the folks at Northern California's Onomy Labs change the look of museum displays and trade shows.
The world has become, in general, a much more interactive place. And so if you're trying to attract people with interactivity, you've got to kind of be one step ahead, be different in some particular way.
Dale McDonald and Scott Miniman, two technology veterans who trained at Palo Alto's Xerox PARC, a research center where they turned high-tech dreams into novel innovation.
As we progressed in making these things, we were starting to see demand in the outside world for them, not as research objects, but as real products. And those two events dovetailed and we became Onomy Labs.
We like to say we're economy without the eek. And also, it was a 5-letter domain name that was still available in the summer of 2002 when we started. So.
Onomy Labs looks more like a toy warehouse. Shelves full of the crazy, the weird, and the... what the heck?
You have a lot of stuff. You have a lot of stuff. Is this like you collect things?
It's sort of a circus of gizmology, yeah. We collect things that have odd things to it and that inspire us to extrapolate from there. And this one epitomizes how we feel a lot of the
time. Beating yourself over the head, huh?
Now let's face it, Onomy's strategy takes a sense of humor. Say a museum wants to explain how computers read and translate words and text. Well, Onomy's answer, a talking dog.
The dog will read anything you put in front of him. Here's the preamble to the Constitution. Takes the images from his two eyes, stitches them together, as you can see is happening here on the screen, runs optical character recognition on that text.
The preamble to the Constitution of the United States of America. We are the people of the United States in order to form a more perfect union.
If we had done this with a desktop scanner and a little speaker sitting next to it, people wouldn't be very attracted to it. But the dog is a magnet. You come over, you look at the dog, you want to figure out what this whole thing does. And so that's a bit of the magic in this particular piece, is the form.
You don't need an night like a light, night like tonight. You don't need a night lick on the light, night like tonight.
Then there's a screen that puts a days full of commercial aircraft in motion by spinning a bicycle wheel that works like a computer mouse.
And as you spin the wheel, it shows you the flights of airplanes around the United States.
So as it spins, you're going through the day.
Yeah.
So we're watching a clock.
Yes, essentially. But you're in control of that clock. You can play it backwards, you can play it forwards.
And how about a trade show display wall with sort of a magic window?
You just move the monitor along the wall, and as you do so, the monitor plays you additional information about what's on the background. All these settings are wanting to become more and more interactive and have more and more interactive devices to tell their stories. I think one thing is the stories are getting more complex, and so it takes more time. You can't walk by a convention booth and understand what a particular company is trying to tell you.
Anami's goal, to tell stories or explain how things work through interactive technology.
Stop having interactivity be about one person, one screen, and instead have it be about groups of people using their bodies to interact with novel information.
Technology that's easy on the eyes, the brain, and the people who have to set it all up.
There's actually a lot of innovation that's gone into making them work, making them robust enough for the kinds of day-to-day use, making them robust enough that Teamsters can set them up at a trade show in a half hour and they still work after that treatment.
Anami's technology is mostly off the shelf. It's the novel way they use it that makes a difference, which brings us back to Anami's version of Earth.
This is another version of a tilting table, and instead of twisting, this one actually spins.
High-resolution images of Earth taken from high-flying aircraft. They let users zoom in and out on a movable screen that tilts, swivels, and spins.
This has this very satisfying spinning motion to do zooming,
But it tilts and spins.
and then it tilts and spins.
So you can go almost anywhere. How much is this programmed with? This is like the full Earth?
Yes. So this is our building, and
This is where we are right now?
this is where we are right now. And that's my car. We still spend way too many hours a week just playing with it and exploring. There's so much data.
It may seem like play, but Anami's goal, to make learning fun, that's hard work.
So this is a real think tank place.
Yeah. We try to refer to it as a make tank instead. We do our thinking by building stuff.
Welcome to Fast Forward. Today we're talking about portable movie players. What's the latest in the industry? Well, who else is there to ask but Rob Enderle, our noted industry expert. And Rob, these are some really cool, small players, but they're all a little bit different. And I get overwhelmed when I go out and look for one of these.
Oh, sure.
Let's first talk about this one.
Well, yeah, this is the Arcos 604. I mean, this is truly a movie player. It's got a nice wide screen. It'll play your music. It'll play, show your pictures, anything you pretty much want to do. And if you look at that, I mean, certainly you can sit back in your chair and you can watch it. It even has
That's a really good
has a little
picture.
stand that flips out of the back so you can set it down and watch it in an airplane or whatever. Battery life is about three and a half hours. And the nice thing is it's got a removable, replaceable battery. This battery actually pops off of the back, so you can carry a spare battery if you want to, and the battery is very small, as you can see. It's just very thin, pops into your pocket.
Is it a good idea when you buy one of these to just
Yeah,
go
a
ahead
spare
and pick
battery.
up an extra battery?
You never know how long it's going to be on the market, so pick up the extra battery because you go back to buy a battery a couple of years later and you
They'll
find
be
out
like,
they've got with a new one. Why don't you buy another, $300 player? So the not inexpensive.
How much?
About $350 for this one, but it does everything you want. And by the way, you can accessorize this to turn it into a digital VCR, so it can tape your TV programs and the rest of it. And you can just kind of grab it and go.
Now that suddenly just made it worth the money for me.
Absolutely, it's an accessory, about another $100 accessory. But you plug that in, you just leave it go on. It tapes whatever it is you want to take with you on a trip, and you just grab it and go.
Okay, now this one's next to it. It looks to me like my iPod.
Very similar. Toshiba clearly kind of designed this to look like an iPod. This is about as small as you'd want to get into a video player. I'm watching Army of Darkness here, one of my favorite movies.
That's a pretty small.
It's very small, and unlike the Arcos, this does not have a speaker. So with the Arcos, I could actually turn that up and you could have a speaker. This no speaker, headphones
have to have
only.
headphones.
But this will also do everything an iPod will do. Watch movies as well, and it's got a nice, when it goes to movies, it goes to this nice panoramic screen, so you can watch the movie. Now this does not have a removable battery, so if you're going to watch more than one and a half movies,
Then
you need something like this. And this is a socket portable power supply, a little under $100, but this has enough battery power in it to take one of these devices and make it go as long as you'd probably want to go. Add another 4 hours or so to the battery life.
Okay, now here's where when I said I was getting overwhelmed when I go to the store and look at these things, it's all about who they're tied to in terms of where you can buy your movies and download them from. And that's
right.
where I get frustrated, but the industry's not going to change there. You have to download from the company that you purchased the...
Well, not necessarily. These actually work with any of the movie services that are Windows technology compliant, which is everybody but Apple.
Okay, that's why I love this one so much.
Yeah, see, it's the Apple's tied to the iPods. iPods only work with Apple and vice versa.
That's what gets frustrating.
These actually work with any of the music or movie services on the market. So
beautiful.
Cinema Now, you can get stuff in. Urge, if you like the Urge music service, these are really handy. I've been using Urge with this one quite a bit. It's really pretty
It's
handy.
user friendly, very much so.
And then to just give you a sense for how much smaller they've become, this was the top of the technology about 2 years ago.
I remember when this was like the coolest thing, and now it just seems large.
A portable DVD player actually has no more battery life, in fact, less battery life than these two have. Yes, it's got a larger screen, but look how big it is. I mean,
and it's kind of heavy too.
I can certainly get this in my pocket. I can almost get this in my pocket. If I had a pocket like this,
we worry about your fashion sense.
I could probably also have babies. Not happening.
And I can only guess what you paid for this 2 years ago.
This was about $900, and so you get a sense. Both of these things are under $400 here. Prices have dropped dramatically, and as I mentioned before, the battery pack under $100.
See, it's always fun on Fast Forward when we get to talk about how prices are tending to drop in the industry.
Dramatically.
Thank you so much for educating us on these portable movie players. And if you want any more information on these or some of the companies that are putting these out, all you have to do is go to our website. It's so easy, techcloseup.com. Give us a visit.
One challenge for science. How do you control technology? Just like, how do you control the smoke from this dry ice? We'd be here all day. Well, it's the same challenge for the software industry. How do you control piracy? The industry loses billions of dollars a year to black market copies. But we found one company that claims it's devised a program that prevents anybody from making illegal copies of any kind of software. And when you hear something like that, we know we have to go see for ourselves. Think about pirates. You might think about a one-eyed crook like this. Some pirates prey on the high seas, but a modern kind of pirate haunts high tech. From the privacy of a personal computer, they can steal tons of money anywhere in the world.
Somewhere between 11 and $12 billion in revenues are lost to software piracy, and anywhere between 20 to 70% of all software that's being used out there is illegally copied.
The crime is software piracy, and it's grown so big it worries industries large and small.
We were in Mexico City because we did a lot of test marketing of our software in Mexico, since it's right across the border, and there are a lot of early adopters there, and we're walking in the market. Mexico City has a huge market. It's like a big flea market. And we saw that someone was selling pirated software, so we went up to him and said, hey, can you get us a copy of Commendo, our software? And the guy told us, give me 2 hours and I'll get it for you. And so we were shocked that, that the guy was confident he can get anything that you wanted, any kind of software, any kind of web product, within 2 hours.
Ronaldo's company, Commendo, is a software startup based in Fremont, California. He makes programs that let internet surfers download any kind of media on the web and then organize it for personal use.
So this is an example of a clip that we recorded off of YouTube. And you can see that the full behavior of the player and the media is available, you know, right from your library, because this is not connected to the internet. And the improvement to the user experience is one value that the consumer gets, but the other one is people want to create their own collections of stuff. They want to create their own collection of music clips or animal clips or car crash clips. And the advantage of recording it in your own personal library is just like iTunes gives you the portability, this allows you to take it on the road and share it with your friends and so on.
Commendo's software took 3 years to develop and another year to test just to ready it for public sale. And that's why Ronaldo wants to protect the copyright.
And in fact, we have a lot of intellectual property in how to take advantage of all that power to turn the PC into a multi-channel recording system. So that's why, you know, the need for us to protect our work because there's a lot of skill and a lot of things that went into shrinking the technology and taking advantage of all this new horsepower on the computers.
Commendo's got good reason to fear software piracy. Despite billions of dollars and years of research, nobody's yet developed a foolproof way to prevent copyright theft.
The reason it's so hard is because you have a human being on the other side. So as soon as the software developers figure out a way to protect their software, then you have legions of very bright high school students figuring out ways to crack the software and open it up. And so there's a constant arms race that will probably not end in our lifetimes.
What I always do before I go to a customer is, or potential customer, is I go on Google and I go crack and the name of their product. And then you simply see how many hits you get.
Jan Samzelius is the CEO of a new company that feels the software industry's pain.
If you go crack a major thing like Illustrator or one of those things, you're going to get millions of hits. And you can then see all the crack sites and places where you can get license keys and this and that and the other. And that's how I open the conversation, is I basically sort of show, well, geez, we did this, you know. And then I've seen typically two kinds of reactions. One reaction is that the jaw drops. They actually really do not know the extent of the problem. And the other one is oh, don't show me, it's too painful to see.
But that pain is why Jan and his team at ByteShield are making lots of friends in the software industry. He's developed a new technology that may soon be known as the holy grail of computing, a code that actually prevents crackers from stealing software.
We tested a lot of the desktop protection mechanisms, and those have a lot of flaws in being able to secure the code. In fact, with a strong computer, you can crack most of those protection mechanisms. For us, the user experience is crucial because if the users can't activate the software and download it, then you know what use is it? So we spent a lot of time engineering the interface, and fortunately for us, ByteShield was very flexible. They have a very flexible architecture, and they work with us to personalize the whole experience and simplify it.
Commendo claims its software has been downloaded over 30,000 times so far without a single instance of illegal theft. An impressive track record which begs the question, how exactly does ByteShield do it?
What we do instead is we take parts of the code, we remove them, and put them somewhere else in something that is very, very difficult to get into. And then we insert pieces into the code to replace them that look real, but they aren't.
Jan admits that no software is 100% uncrackable, even with his robust new technology. The challenge, he says, is to make the keys to the safe much harder to find.
Traditionally, copy protection has been sitting in the code in maybe 10, 20, no more than 50 places. Well, let's say it's 20 places, and everyone takes the hacker 15 minutes to fix. Okay, that's 5 hours worth of work. Big deal. If every place takes an hour to fix, and there are 2,000 of them, now all of a sudden we're talking real work.
Instead of just trying to keep typical users, honest, the problem for the software vendors is they have to figure out how to keep even the most skilled cracker in the world from cracking their software.
ByteShield's impact may be felt around the world, Companies stand to gain billions if their precious software code defies the hacker.
It is huge. I mean, if you think about only or over 20 to 70% of software is being copied, then you can look at a company and figure they could double, triple, quadruple their revenue potentially if they had copy protection that, number one, really worked, and number two, was not any kind of a burden or annoyance for their customers.
We're a Silicon Valley startup company. You know, our whole business is creating intellectual property that will help us build a business that will guarantee that competitors aren't going to copy what we're doing very quickly. So the whole notion of building a sustainable business is to have some unique competitive advantage.
For Commendo, ByteShield, and other software firms, a competitive advantage can mean the difference between success and failure. With literally billions of dollars at stake, the day may finally be near when software pirates walk the plank.
So in the old days, the guilds, you know, the people would create crafts and there would be secret societies to protect their craft. It's no different than that. Software people have to protect their craft in order to make money from it.
Been to an airport lately? Well, if you have, then you know that flying just isn't what it used to be. In fact, if you want to get on a plane these days, you got to run a gauntlet of security, and that can be a real pain. Well, the folks at General Electric are testing some experimental screening technology that might make our lives a lot easier. So Tech Closeup got a close-up look at GE's ideas at San Francisco's International Airport, where tomorrow's screening technology is getting a live run-through today. Before you can ever get out here, you've got to go through here. Airport security. It takes time and effort to take off your shoes, take off your coat, take out anything made of metal, even take your laptop out. What if there was a faster and easier way?
Passengers want the best of both worlds. They want very good security, but they want as little impact on their lives as possible.
We're working to confirm this, that we can get a passenger through the checkpoint of the future from start to finish in 30 seconds or less.
That's not just imagination. San Francisco International Airport is proving grounds for new technology that may speed up airport security checkpoints.
Well, San Francisco Airport believes technology is the future of security, that you can be more efficient and more effective at the same time by applying appropriate technology at appropriate locations. So we're always looking to be on the cutting edge, looking for new systems, new equipment that can enhance our security and make it a more pleasant experience for our traveler at the same time.
SFO's cutting edge, an experimental test station, what General Electric calls the checkpoint of the future.
It's streamlined in the sense that it will be much more convenient for passengers, we believe, and it's also at the same time much more effective screening as compared to today's state-of-the-art.
It starts with a scanner that reads your ticket, then it reads your finger.
The first thing the passenger does when they step up to this identity kiosk is they press this button on GE's Itemizer FX, and it begins to screen them for the possible presence of traces of explosives.
That detects if there's something on a finger?
That's absolutely right.
What could be on your finger?
The theory, and in fact the practice, is that particles of explosives happen to be very sticky. So if you've been handling explosives, or have been handling things that have been handled by people who have been handling explosives, those particles are going to stay with you on your clothes and on your body. The next step in the passenger checkpoint of the future is a brand new technology to the checkpoint, and it is computed tomography.
Now, if that term sounds familiar, it's the same technology used in CAT scans, high-tech X-rays that create 3D images of body parts. Well, soon, CAT scans may help airport screeners check carry-on luggage for hidden deadly threats.
And then it takes the data that it collects from those images and compares it to an onboard library of known threat substances. When a match is found, the machine identifies a possible threat.
That threat image library would save travelers some common fuss. Today's screeners make people take out their laptops. Well, with CAT scans programmed to detect known threats, the laptops could stay packed away.
The reason we believe that the TSA may allow you to not take your laptop out in the checkpoint of the future is because of the superior imaging capabilities of CT over standard X-ray.
But this is the one that interests me the most. This looks like something out of Star Trek.
We're standing in front of a millimeter wave portal. It's an imaging device. It, we believe, will do away with the need to remove jackets at the checkpoint. It may, in fact, do away with the need to remove certain objects from the passengers' pockets.
Stand in the portal for about 5 seconds. It scans for any deadly weapons or threats.
That's all it took?
Now, you're done?
Well, almost. Remember, with this technology, your shoes stay on, but they'll still go through a shoe bomb sensor.
With this machine, we're using quadrupole resonance, and you're done, actually, in about 5 seconds. We use quadrupole resonance, which is a lot like medical MRI, to screen your shoes while they're on your feet for any possible threats. 3 of the technologies that we have been examining here and that you've seen today have already sort of percolated up out of the lab and have been integrated into a real-world product that has been developed under the observation of the TSA, and we believe will soon be deployed to registered traveler lanes at airports around the country.
Of course, the technology carries a pricey price tag, and the technology still needs more testing.
Will the total cost of ownership of operating security solutions in real lanes with these advanced technologies be lower because of the reduction in the human cost, for example, and other associated costs? We are hopeful that that's the case.
Well, the airport director, the airport commission want the most effective, most efficient security system available in the world. And we've always been on the leading edge of technology. We continue to want to be there. So all these systems fit right into our plan, our goal to have world-class security and great customer service at the same time.
GE's technology at San Francisco's airport is still a test and a work in progress.
We're looking at ways to search the carry-on bags more effectively, more quickly, and more efficiently. Once again, to speed you up as you go through that check-in. And the next level is the liquids and gels. How can we search those, see what's in there, and not be as obtrusive and slow down the check-in process?
So, the experimental checkpoint may hold a crucial key to improve security both in the homeland and in the air. Zero G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around. I always wanted to get in one of these. This is an exact replica of one of the original Mercury spacecraft on display here at the Chabot Space and Science Center. Kind of makes me feel like John Glenn, but it does make me feel close to technology. And frankly, speaking of technology, almost anywhere you go these days, Tech Closeup is there. More than a dozen cable channels now carry Tech Closeup, and now Comcast carries Tech Closeup at 4:30 every Saturday afternoon. For times and listings, check our website, techcloseup.com. I'm Mark Levinson, but for the time being, maybe I am John Glenn. So if you want to stay close to the technology that drives this Silicon Valley, join us next time for another edition of Tech Closeup. 3, 2, 1.
Roger, 0G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around. Oh, that view is tremendous. Roger, turnaround has started. Roger, capsule turning around, and I could see the booster during turnaround just a couple of 100 yards behind me. It was beautiful.